Hello. On behalf of Nail Tree Family Services Europe, I would like to welcome you to this career workshop on interview techniques. My name is Caroline Couture, and I'm the Employment Education and Training Coordinator for MFS Europe. Everyone has had a job interview at some point in their life, and they can be scary things. However, they are really nothing to worry about. All a job interview does is give employers the chance to meet you and to see if they like you enough to give you a job. Simple. Get it right, and you could end up with a great job. This is the ultimate aim of this session, for you to get it right and to land that job. Thus, the learning objectives of today's session are as follows. To help you acquire the know-how and develop the skills needed to successfully conduct a job interview. To provide you with an overview of the interview process in order to help you better prepare for an interview. And finally, to help you increase your level of confidence and comfort with job interviews. First, let's define what is an interview. A job interview is an interview consisting of a conversation between a job applicant and a representative of an employer, which is conducted to assess whether the applicant should be hired. It is an opportunity for the employer and the prospective employee to mutually explore the possibility of a match. It is, at its core, an exchange of information. The employer is seeking to learn more about your qualifications in relation to the specific job opening. It looks to confirm if your aptitudes and your values are in line with the organization's. And as for the candidate, he or she is seeking to explore if the employer and the organization is a good match to his or her career objectives and aspirations. So you've submitted your job application and it worked. You've been asked to attend a job interview. Congratulations. This section has tips and advice on how to prepare for an interview. Why should you prepare for a job interview? Preparing will ensure that you have developed a concrete strategy for the interview, that you are more informed and better prepared, which will result in a boost in your confidence level. And finally, it will enable you to determine the extent to which you have the profile needed for the job you want. Here are some steps to get yourself ready for that job interview. Start with yourself. Take the time to do some self-exploration that will clarify why you think you are the best candidate for this position. Once it's clear to you, you will then be able to communicate it clearly to the interviewer. So create short profiles for each of your top 3 achievements. Write down how your personal attributes correlate with the organization's mission statement. Write down your career objectives. Determine how you meet the employer's needs through transferable skills. And write down 3 benefits and drawbacks related to this position. This will help you clarify how you plan to impact your new workplace. And it will help you answer these types of questions out loud in person, because the interviewer will definitely ask you questions about yourself. Second, review your resume and the profile for the job. And prepare bullet point form notes that explain in detail how you meet and surpass each of the requirements of this position. This will come handy during the interview if you ever lose your train of thought. Third, research, research, research. The interviewer, the team you'll work with, and the organization. Read the mission statement, vision, and sets of values. Know the services they provide and the clients they serve, and the organizational chart and their annual report. This will help you know what they do and how you can contribute. Lastly, try to set up an informational interview. An informational interview refers to a meeting, either over the phone or in person, with someone who knows the position well enough to provide you with more specific information. These individuals could be the supervisor, the employee who is leaving, or someone performing tasks similar to this vacant position. Informational interviews are helpful when they focus on the specifics of the position, its challenges and benefits. The week leading up to the interview, you need to get ready. First, research the employer and the company. Read the website, understand their sets of value, their business, and how you may be an asset to them. Research the interviewer. Read the bio on the company's website or read their LinkedIn page. Second, practice, practice, practice. Review your notes and your resume. Practice out loud, answering questions. Know the answer to specific questions by heart, especially this specific question. How will I be an asset to this company? Third, get your paperwork ready. Print copies of important documents, such as references, that are relevant and significant to your candidacy. And finally, rehearse. Figure out the best way to get to the interview. Look where to park and how long it will take you to get there. Figure out what you'll wear. If you're unsure, stop by the workplace and see what people are wearing, and then dress one step above what employees are wearing. This is not the time to try out a new pair of shoes or a new outfit. Dress professionally in an outfit that you know well. You don't want the image of you limping due to a blister to be the lasting image you leave with the employer. The day before the interview, aim to arrive 15 minutes prior to the start of your interview. Bring a bottle of water, your notes, your career portfolio, a notepad and pen with you to the interview. The worst thing you can do is show up to an important meeting such as this interview empty-handed. So arrive early and arrive prepared. Inform the receptionist that you have arrived and who you are meeting, and then sit and relax. You've done all there is to do to prepare for this moment. Now you must calm your nerves and focus on your strengths. Now let's talk candidly about the interview context. In a survey of 2,000 bosses, 33% claim that they know within the first 90 seconds of an interview whether they will hire the candidate or not. It's all about the level of confidence and competency that you communicate with your verbal and nonverbal behaviors. Since the average length of an interview is approximately 40 minutes, you have a lot of time to confirm to the hiring manager that you possess plenty of both. The best way to sell yourself as a prospective employee is by looking, acting, and talking the part, as 55% of the impact you'll make will be through the way you dress, act, and walk into this interview. 38% will be through the quality of your voice, grammar, and overall confidence, while only 7% will be through the words you actually use. So the only way to ensure you can represent yourself confidently in an interview is through preparation and practice. So yes, relax, take deep breaths, and visualize your success. Stay calm, do not fidget, know the company, and know what you would bring to it. Make eye contact, smile, and you've got this. Now let's discuss the 4 types of interview structures. The telephone interview, or the virtual interview, is also known as, is an interview that takes place remotely. The traditional interview is a very basic type of interview, while the behavioral interview is a more complex and structured type of interview. We will discuss each of them in more detail in upcoming slides. The stress approach interview is less common and very controversial. Thus, we will not review it in this presentation. During a stress approach interview, a candidate may be asked repeated, difficult, and inappropriate interview questions, be subjected to testing, face multiple interviewers, or be subjected to a long wait or be spoken to rudely. The logic behind a stress approach interview is that the way you respond under stress during the interview is indicative of the way you'll handle similar situations on the job. Stress interviews are controversial because they create a negative and emotionally charged relationship between the applicant and the hiring manager. Thus, they are an extremely rare and dying type of interview. The most common type of interviews are the telephone, the traditional, and the behavioral interviews. As previously mentioned, the telephone or virtual interview is one that takes place remotely. Because you will not have the opportunity to shake hands and create a rapport face-to-face with the interviewer, you must probably present yourself through other means. Here are some tips. Treat this interview as a face-to-face interview. So dress for it and arrange to conduct the interview at a desk. Have your notes, documents, and notepad and pen in front of you during the call. Do not take the phone call from a couch in your pajama pants. The way you dress and sit will affect the quality of your voice. So take it seriously and show up to the interview like the professional that you are. Smile. Smile while you speak. This is a tip used by telemarketers, as a smile will warm up the tone of your voice, which will work to convey both warmth and enthusiasm. So smile through your answers and share how excited you are about this opportunity, as the interviewer will not have the privilege to see it in your demeanor. A traditional interview is the most basic and simple type of interview. It is a get-to-know-you conversation where general questions like, tell me about yourself, are asked and follow-up questions are based on the answers you provide. This type of interview is often used in situations where you are the only candidate for the position and your candidacy simply needs to be confirmed. The behavioral interview is the most common type of interviews. Behavioral interviews are based on discovering how the interviewee acted in previous employment-related situations. The logic is that your past behavior is the best indicator of your future behavior. In a behavioral interview, an employer must confirm that you possess the specific skills required for the position. These skills should be listed on a job poster, such as ability to manage multiple projects or the ability to work as part of a team. Instead of asking how you would behave, they will ask you how you did behave. The interviewer will want to know how you handle the situation instead of what you may do in the future. Behavioral interview questions will be more pointed, more probing, and more specific than traditional interview questions, such as, tell me of a time when you felt under tight deadlines. What did you do to ensure you met your commitments? There are multiple formats to an interview. Regardless of the type of interview, you may meet with the interviewer one-on-one or be interviewed by a committee composed, for example, of the hiring manager, the HR manager, and various members of the team. Or you may be faced with a group interview where you and the other candidates are interviewed at the same time. If you're well prepared, you will be ready to face each of these challenges. During the interview, you will be asked various types of questions. We will review 4: job knowledge, behavioral, work requirements, and situational. Job knowledge. These questions will determine the interviewee's relevant knowledge and essential skills, such as work practices, policies, procedures, resources, laws, customer service, and technical information, as well as the relationship between the position's task and the organization's mission. For example, do you know about services that a family may need during a deployment? Second, behavioral. The company asks questions about your past work experiences in order to find out if you have the skills needed for the job. Behavioral interview questions focus on how you handled various work situations in the past. Your response will reveal your skills, ability, and personality. The logic behind this interview tactic is that your behavior in the past reflects and predicts how you will behave in the future. For example, have you ever dealt with conflict in the workplace? Third, work requirements. These questions will focus on the interviewee's ability to meet the requirements of the position. For example, ability to get a security clearance, possessing the right computer skills, ability to lift weight, to travel, or to work overtime. Lastly, situational. Situational interview questions are similar to behavioral questions. But instead of asking you to relay a past experience and say how you handled yourself in that situation, you're presented with a fictional situation. Rather than being asked, tell me about a time where you ... the interviewer will ask you with a more ambiguous prompt. For example, how would you handle a difficult boss? The best way to answer behavioral questions is to use the STAR answering technique. The STAR method is a structured manner of responding to a behavioral-based interview question by discussing the specific situation, task, action, and result of the situation you are describing. Situation. Describe the situation that you were in or the task that you needed to accomplish. You must describe a specific event or situation, not a generalized description of what you have done in the past. Be sure to give enough details for the interviewer to understand the situation you were placed in. This situation can be from a previous job, from a volunteer experience, or any other related events. Task. Task. Explain to the interviewer the specific goal you were working towards and what you were trying to achieve. A stands for action. Describe the actions you took to address the situation with an appropriate amount of detail and keep the focus on you. What specific steps did you take and what was your particular contribution? Be careful that you don't describe what the team or the group did when talking about the project, but what you actually did. Use the word I, not we, when describing actions. R stands for result. Describe the outcome of your action and don't be shy about taking credit for your behavior. What happened? What did the event conclude? What did you accomplish? What did you learn? Make sure you answer these questions by providing multiple positive results. Make sure you follow all parts of the STAR method, S-T-A-R. Be as specific as possible at all times, without rambling or including too much information. Oftentimes, candidates have to be prompted to include their results. So try to include that without being asked. Also, eliminate any examples that do not paint you in a positive light. To help you remember this technique, I recommend that you create various STAR-type answers in bullet point form on different topics and bring them to the interview. Here are some examples of behavioral questions. Question 1, please describe what excellent customer service means to you and give us an example of a time when you have demonstrated this. Question 2, teamwork is essential to have a productive work environment. What are at least 3 factors that would help create good teamwork? Question 3, please tell us about a time when you had difficulties getting along with a coworker or a classmate. How did you work through the situation and what was the outcome? Now you've reached the end of the interview, but it's not the time to rush out the door. You will be given a chance to ask questions to the interviewer. Take it. An interview is a two-way conversation. So now it is the time for you to find out about the company and the team you'll work with. Here are some simple questions to ask. I recommend that you come prepared to the interview with a list of written questions for the team. What are the main duties of the position? What characteristics do you look for in people doing this job? What are the challenges in this work? Do you foresee different challenges in the future? Is this a new position? What led to the past employee to leave? Can you recommend documents that provide information about your work and the priorities of your division? Asking these questions will allow you to determine if this employer is a good fit for you. In closing the interview, please communicate how excited you are about this opportunity. Thank them for their time and ask them when you will find out about the results of the competition. And finally, provide them with a list of references that can vouch for your suitability. These references must be well informed on your candidacy for this position, and they must be provided with relevant information to ensure that they can properly refer you. After the interview, you must follow up with a thank you email, and then take the time to evaluate your performance. What worked, what didn't work so well, and what you could improve in your next interview. You should also take the time to evaluate the position. You may have realized during the interview that the position is not well suited for you, and you may not be as excited to work there anymore. It's important to reflect on these impressions, as they should guide your response to an eventual job offer. Let's say you get the phone call and you are told that you were not selected for this position. Instead of hanging up quickly, take the opportunity to discuss with the interviewer what worked, what didn't work, and what could be improved and where to go next. Ask for leads and for tips. The interviewer will be more than pleased to help you land the right position. You should also do this SWOT exercise alone to determine your next step. Let's say that you get the phone call and you are told that you are the successful candidate and they would like to offer you the position. Before you get too excited and accept everything on the spot, have a professional discussion about the terms of the offer and ask for a time to reflect before accepting it. In evaluating your job offer, you have to consider three options. First, accepting it as is. Second, negotiating the terms so they better fit your needs. Or finally, declining the offer as you're no longer interested in working for this company. This is what you have been working for in your job search. So take a moment, reflect on what is being offered to you, and ask yourself, does it meet your expectations? Will you still be happy with these terms 6 months from now? Here are some last tips to ensure your success in your next interview. Be yourself. Make sure you show your personality during the interview. Show that you are interested and enthusiastic about the opportunity. Research the employer. Prepare, prepare, prepare. If you do the work, your confidence and competency will help you land this job. And finally, know and say why you are the best candidate for this position. So this is the end of this session. Thank you for listening to this recording. If you need any assistance in preparing for a job interview, please do not hesitate to contact me. Have a great day.